There's a problem in America, and it's drugs, but not the kind that you think. It's the kind that could save your life. The American pharmaceutical market is a multi-billion-dollar industry with millions of people finding themselves at the mercy of drug-making giants. These drug makers and executives set prices on how much they think their drugs should cost, leaving those in need for medical help at the mercy of their prices. The American drug market is self-regulated with little to no input from the American government to manage potential corruption. This has stirred quite a bit of controversy in America and has caused lots of problems. Drug prices continue to skyrocket, and the drug business continues to become more corrupt. In order to prevent the problem of corruption in the drug market, the government must seek to establish a program similar to the United Kingdom's program, NICA, in order to establish and set proper prices on pharmaceuticals, create a better balance in the market, and make life-saving drugs more readily available for those in need. America is the only country that allows drug makers to set their own prices. At first, this may not seem like a big deal, but when one is confronted with the correlation between drug-making companies and corruption, the correlation is unparalleled. Recently, Martin Shkreli, an executive for the company who makes Daraprim, a very effective drug that fights the infection called toxoplasmosis, decided to raise the price of the drug Daraprim 5,500% within the last year. Now, this is just a small example of a much bigger problem that's currently taking place in the American drug industry. Drug makers have complete control over the prices of their drugs. The potential for executives and drug makers to increase the prices of their drugs is very high, and this could potentially pose major threats for those who need medical attention and need these drugs to live healthier lives. Currently, there is no control on how executives and drug makers should price their drugs. The American government has little to no influence, and America stands alone as the only nation who fails to regulate the drug market. Failure to regulate the market allows for opportunity within the market for corruption to grow. Now, without serious reform and change, things will stay the same and could potentially become worse. In order to prevent the problem of corruption in the drug market, the government must seek to establish a program, much like the UK's NICA. The NICA solely exists to place proper prices on drugs and take care of those who need medical attention. Their philosophy is one that asserts the opinion that healthier people will save the healthcare industry money versus increasing the cost of receiving medical care and purchasing drugs. The American government exists for the people. It would do much more for the overall good to create a program that regulates the drug market and sets fair prices. Opponents to the policy of reform in the American drug market would argue that government-regulated pharmaceuticals does more harm for the people than good. More government regulation makes a bigger government. And once the government has control of the pharmaceuticals, then what's next? The issue with such thought is that currently, the situation of non-government regulation on drugs can only become worse. Without intervention, the potential for more harm to come to the American people will only increase. In order to solve this problem, of an unregulated drug market. Our government must intervene and create a program whose sole purpose is to set proper prices on drugs and help give access to those who need them most. Accessible and affordable pharmaceuticals will stop corruption in one of the biggest markets in the US, create healthier people, and make a great society for Americans.